Hello students, this is the second lecture of the poem My Mother at 66 by Kamala Das, and today I am going to read through the poems. I am going to explain the poem. I want to read the poem uh, between the lines and going to do a line by line explanation of the poem. Okay, so let's start. Okay. Okay. Let me first read the whole poem. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me, doors open mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse, and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked, but soon put that thought away and looked out at young trees sprinting, the merry children spilling out of their homes. But after the airport security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her, wan, pale as a late winter's moon, and felt that old familiar ache. My childhood's fear, but all I said was, "See you soon, Amma." All I did was smile and smile and smile and smile and so on. Okay, so in the first line, what happens in the beginning? See, try to imagine the background of the poem. By reading the first line, we can infer the meaning that the poet had previously had paid a visit to her parents' house, and her parents' house is in a village or in a town nearby Cochin. And now she is ending her visit, stay. She is ending her stay in her parents' house and is now returning to her own house, maybe, or to the place where she lives and works. Okay, so now the poem begins when the poet is en route, ENROUTE, en route to Cochin airport. En route, here en route means on the way. So the poem begins when the poet is on the way to Cochin airport to board a plane. Okay. Last Friday morning. So here this poem is a is based on a past experience or an experience few days earlier. Okay, few days earlier. Now the poet is reminiscing about her experience. The poet is recalling her experience. Okay, so driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning. So it happened last Friday, and the poet is sitting down and writing about that a few days later. Okay, so this poem might also be called a remembrance or a commemoration of something. Of something. So, while the poet was on her way to Cochin airport after ending her stay in her mother's house or parents' house, she saw her mother. So, here we can assume that her mother has her mother accompanied her to go to the Cochin airport. Okay, so so the poet's mother wanted to see her off. The poet's mother wanted to see her daughter off, to see off. So that is why she accompanied her until she reaches the Cochin airport. So her mother, wanted to see the poet off, see off, to see off. To see off, to accompany somebody to some place, to accompany somebody for a short distance while they are on their way to their own destination, or while they are ending their stay. Okay, so see off. So now I saw my mother beside me, doze open mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse. Achha, doze means doze, to sleep lightly. Now, see, doze open mouth like this. It is a sign of sickness or weakness, typical of an old person. Normally we see that the old people do like that, fall asleep readily, they doze open mouth. So this, falling asleep readily is a sign of weakness, typical of an old person. to fall asleep anywhere is sign of weakness. So here, this sign of sleeping lightly on the car itself is a sign of weakness by the poet's mother. So doors open mouth. She is tired. She is always tired, and the fact of being always tired is a sign of oldness. Okay, so I saw my mother beside me, doors open mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse. Ashen means ashen, to turn into ash color. Ashen, to turn into ash color. That means to turn pale, colorless. The face turning pale and colorless is also a sign of sickness and old age. It is a sign of sickness, old age, weakness, sickness. ठीक है? So it is a verb. Ashen. It's a verb. It's a verb. Okay. Now I saw my doors open mouth. Her face ashen like that of a corpse. Like that of a corpse is an example of simile. This is simile. And it is an example of poetic device, simile. Okay, like that of a corpse is an example of simile. So here the poet compares her mother's old face, old wrinkled face, to the face of a dead body. Corpse means dead body. Dead body. Okay. Her face ashen like that of a corpse, and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked, but and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked. Now, after seeing her mother's pale, colorless, wrinkled old face, the poet became aware of her mother's advancing age, advancing years, old age. So now the poet realizes that now her mother is really old and she will not stay with her forever like an umbrella. And the poet has to fend for herself. The poet has to be her own umbrella. See, our guardians are our umbrella, are our shelter, are our support. Now, when our guardians pass away, and we become, shelterless, supportless. We feel weak, but then we, try to make our mind understand that yes, we people have a separate existence, and that existence differs from the life of our guardians. Okay, so we have to exist independently and fearlessly. We have to be our own master. Now, the poet here is going through that crisis. Now, the poet is feeling supportless, shelterless. When he realizes now her mother is an old person and shall not stay with her forever or for very long. Okay. So, she was as old as she looked, but soon put that thought away. Now the poet, tried to, avert her eyes from this gruesome, sorrowful atmosphere of oldness and death. Now the poet tried to make herself happy. Now the poet tried to distract herself from this depressing, atmosphere that is lingering within her heart. And now she is trying to make her heart light. And to make her heart light, to lighten her heart and mood, to lighten her mood, she looked outside. And now the things she saw outside were pleasant contrast to the scene outside, inside the car. Whatever she saw outside the car was a sharp contrast to whatever she saw inside the car. So, outside the car, she saw the, images of youth, symbols of youth. Inside the car, she was forced to brood on oldness and death and sickness. And outside the car, her eyes confronted the jolly, merry, happy, joyful, flamboyant, images of youth. And what are those images of youth? See. She was as old as she looked, but soon put that thought away and looked out at young trees painting. So these are the images and symbols of youth actually. What? Young trees sprinting. and children spilling out of their homes. Spilling out. These are the, these are called images or symbols. Now, and why the trees are, these young trees are sprinting? Because the car is sprinting forward, is forging ahead, and the static trees, the trees which are static, appeared to the persons inside the car to be rushing backwards. Okay. It is a law of physics. Okay. That when you are inside a moving object, then whatever you see outside appears to be moving in the opposite direction, even though they are static or stationary. Okay. So these are the images of youth through which, using which the poet tried to make herself happy. The poet tried to distract herself. Okay. So, but soon put that thought away and looked out at young trees sprinting and many children spilling out of their homes. Spilling. See, when the spilling is again an example of energy and vigor. Spilling out of rice spills out from a bowl, or the soup spills out from a bowl. Now spilling here means what? To move with a lot of vigor and energy. Spilling out, to go out, applying with a lot of energy or applying force. To go out with a lot of force, spilling out. So this spilling out, children spilling out is again an image of youth. And these are examples of youthful energy and youthful vigor. ठीक है? These are the examples of youthful energy, the vibrancy of youth, the flamboyance. Okay. So now the poet here presents us with two contrasting images and symbols. First image is and image of old age what? Face ashen like that of a corpse, corpse. Doge open mouth. So these are the images of old age. So two contrasting images. One of old age, sickness and death. Another of you know uh, youthful enthusiasm, energy, youthful vibration, youthful vigor. Okay, so and looked out at young kids painting, the men is painting out of their homes. Then again, now the scene again shifts. See, now the scene again shifts. Now again the poet is forced to focus upon her mother. Okay. So first sorrowful experience, then joyful experience, then again sorrowful experience. Now again the poet was forced to look at her mother or to pay attention to her mother when she was about to board the plane. Okay, when she was about to leave her mother, when she was about to just about to get up the plane, the flight, after the airport security check. Now everything is done. Now she will give a last look at her mother. Okay. Now what is happening? Now she again was forced to look at her mother, because now she is going to leave her once and for all. Okay, so now she again looks upon her mother's face, and then again she became sad, and again those depressing, sorrowful images of oldness and death overcome or overpowered her heart, overpowered her bearing. Okay, so but after the airport security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her. One pale, one means colorless. Indicating sickness, old age. Pale, colorless, And color is a sign of health. The redness of face is a sign of health, of a sound health. And when your face is pale, whitish, then it's a sign of being unhealthy. Okay, so I looked again at her. One pale as a late winter's moon. So, as a late winter's moon simile. As a late winter's moon simile. So, late winter's moon and late winter's moon is also an image. Okay, late winter's moon. So, what happens to a late winter's moon? To a late winter moon, see, towards the ending of the winter, the moon becomes shrouded with mist, and as such, people or the onlookers cannot see the moon fully at its full glory and aura. Now, during late winter, the moon becomes shrouded, covered with mist. So, it does not appear to us in its full view. So, then the moon appears to be pale, colorless, not so bright, lusterless. ठीक है? So this late winter's moon is an image of paleness, of it is a depressing image. Try to compare these two images side by side. First one, a bright moon, glowing moon, and another moon covered with mist, pale, lusterless, gloomy. So the second image is bound to make you depressed or unhappy. Okay. So, as a late winter's moon and felt that old familiar ache. So, and that old familiar ache. So, this ache is familiar. This ache, this pain, ache means pain. This ache is familiar. This ache is old. So, what pain? The pain of losing her mother. The pain of losing her near and dear ones. So, this pain, time and again, makes the poet suffer. And this pain occurs again and again within the mind of the poet from time to time. This pain of losing her near and dear ones. So it is an old and familiar. So the poet is plagued by the agony of losing her near and dear ones. Often Okay, write this line. So this suffering is familiar. I felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear, and this pain is also the poet's childhood's fear. So see how sensitive the poet is. Even during her childhood, she became aware of death. When little children play around, the poet, with all her sensitivity, has become aware of death, of the inevitability of death. So these sensitive people are more prone to write literature. Okay, so actually I got distracted. So see how sensitive the poet is. During the very childhood, when little children play around, she is uh, realizing the fact that man is mortal and man is here to die. And what will happen when my mother shall leave me forever? When my near and dear ones shall leave me for good. For good means forever. For good means forever. Okay. So, and it is, and because of the fact that this fear is the poet's childhood's fear, the poet has been experiencing this fear since her childhood. So she suffers from that mental trauma or mental agony again and again, because at the very childhood, at the very beginning of her life, she has experienced an unpleasant thing. The poet at her very childhood had an unsavory experience or unpleasant experience. Now, and that is why even during her adulthood, she is suffering from that same fear, from that same trauma, because whatever you experience in your childhood leaves a deep impression upon you throughout your life. So that is why this fear is taking advantage of the poet even during her adult age. Okay. But all I said was Siu Su Nama. But all I said was, now the poet tried to remove that thought from her mind, remove that depressing thought from her mind. Okay, the poet tried to remove that thought. The poet tried to get over this depressing experience or this depressing impression. Okay. See you soon, Amma. So now, and all I did was smile and smile and smile. So the poet tried to end her stay with her mother by putting on a smiling face. By putting on a smiling face. So the poet tried to end her visit on a happy note. The poet tried to comfort herself by putting on a smiling face and giving the impression that all is well. But actually, all is not well here. Even though the poet is smiling outwardly, inwardly she is upset. She is very upset. All I said was, see you soon, Amma. All I did was smile and smile and smile. So this smile is just a outer covering. It is just a facade. This smile is superficial smile. Just a facade. F-A-C-A-D-E. When it is actually not. So this smile is unreal, superficial, just a facade, just a covering to give the impression that everything is okay, all is well, when it is actually not. The poet is deep inside her heart, she is upset. She is worried that the next time she pays a visit to her mother, she pays a visit to her, she goes to her mother's house, she might not see her mother alive. She might have to confront her mother's dead face. So now, even though the poet is worried that her mother shall not live for very long now, she is trying to put on a smiling face to comfort herself and to lighten the atmosphere. But the atmosphere is really depressing, sorrowful. Okay. So this smile and smile and smile. is an example of repetition. Repetition means smile and smile and smile means to go on smiling. To go on smiling forcefully when you are upset. But you are upset. To go on smiling forcefully. Just you are showing your teeth. Okay. Now this tree printing, it is let me tell you the rest of the poetic devices that I have missed. See, this tree printing. It's an example of when you attribute or give human-like qualities to a something, to a chair, table, or a tree, anything, to a non-human. When you attribute human-like qualities, then it is called, such type of poetic device is called personification. And this many children speaking out of their homes, it's an example of metaphor. It is a metaphor. So, I have discussed the poem in detail. Now I think you can answer the any question, I think. But if you face any problem, then you please don't hesitate to contact me. And your home assignment is the questions, to answer the questions of think it out. Home assignment. What? Try to answer the questions asked in think it out. In your own words. In your own words is important. Don't see a guidebook and copy from there. Try to answer in your own words, and That is the thing that really matters. To be able to write yourself. Okay. Thank you then, students. Please do my home assignment. Thank you, students.